The government, if I could interrupt you, Mr. Gamma, the government seems to be an ally of the USA.
Yeah.
So give us an explanation around why that is so, yet you're saying journalists all over the planet, including the USA, are being attacked.
Yeah, I could give that. You know, in the first place, the government is an ethnic-based government without any national feeling towards Ethiopia. It's from the beginning, they went for Tigray to liberate Tigray. Mm-hmm. And as a government, you don't consider your government to allow cessation of part of your country and to give up lands to bordering country, to Sudan, to the Eritrean cessation. All is being done because this government is not an Ethiopian government. It is simply by itself is, well, they now put up a bill for anti-terrorism. They are the terrorists in the first place. They were the one who had been doing all these things. Their intention is generally to dismantle the unity of the country. And that's why they don't need any opposition party.
But from their point of view,
because of this, they don't have any mass base in Ethiopia. Okay. Therefore, they have to go and shelter somewhere. And they found the crack that the United States was looking for an ally because of its problem to fight against terrorism in Somalia and in the Horn of Africa. And these people, they have to submit.
And at the bottom of the list of priorities seems to be the unification of Ethiopia in terms of its people and so on. But we've been listening to the BBC talking about you know, a controversy around the abuse of the use of famine money that people very gladly gave, especially during Live Aid and so on. Mm-hmm. In fact, it seems to be almost like a concerted attack on Ethiopia in the press here, relatively speaking. How do you feel reading reports like that, bearing in mind we hear so little else about the country?
I mean, in the first place, all the Ethiopian people knows about that news before the APR came into power. It was broadcast. The person who, the name Gabramadan, he was broadcasting that in Ethiopian, through Ethiopian radio. So the people were informed just 20 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
And as we could justify from the CIA report, you know, it was the aim of the USA government to challenge the Soviets, and in order to challenge that, they have to help the EPRDF, the TPLF, to come into power.
Okay, I'm afraid I have to stop you there, but it's definitely a convoluted web, and as we've reiterated, it seems the interests of the Ethiopian people are the last thing on anyone's agenda at the moment in terms of effecting any change. That is the end of our discussion. Obviously, we're going to go back to this topic. It's much more complicated than we've shown. Please let us know what you think. Email africa@presstv.co.uk. Now it's time for our usual quick roundup of some other news from the continent.
Niger's junta chief major Salou Jobo has appointed a 20-member provisional government which is intended to guide the West African uranium exporter to elections after the recent army takeover. Civilian Prime Minister Mahamadou Danda, who was appointed recently to that post, keeps his position. Tanzanian President Jakaya Kikwete has vowed a new election law would impose tighter controls on campaign financing and improve the standards of upcoming elections. The new measures, he said, were crucial to ensuring the credibility of the legislative and presidential elections due in October. West Africa regional body ECOWAS has lauded government and opposition parties in Ivory Coast for agreeing on a new government and electoral body to resolve the country's political crisis. The West African country has been in turmoil since President Laurent Gbagbo sacked the cabinet and electoral commission recently.
And the usual thanks to all of you who've been sending us emails and texts. Here's an email from Chagins Chewe in Zambia. you have to understand that as long as Mr. Mugabe does not bow to the Western world's political demands, sanctions won't be lifted. And we have a text also from Lagos in Nigeria concerning the latest situation with Yar'Adua. We want our president and not his wife. The #1 citizen cannot be seen because she said so. Is she now a member of his cabinet? I believe the president is more honorable. It's only in Nigeria that the country's constitution has no power to stand its ground. Tell me this isn't treason. Well, fighting words there from Victor in Lagos. You can also share your point of view, please. We will read your emails, though we can only manage a couple a week, but you can also share your thoughts on our Facebook fan page at Africa Today, Press TV London. And that's it for today. Many thanks to all of you. The email address again is africa@presstv.co.uk, or you can text us at +44 78 0000 8086. Messages, remember, will be charged at your local operator rates. A big thank you to today's guests. They were Mr. Negussie Gamma and Mr. Bekele Teklu. Thank you for watching. Join me, Vuyiswa next week for more news and analysis on Africa Today.